turned on the news lately, or looked at any other form of media, you've probably seen something about same-sex marriage come up. As of November 7th, 2012, same-sex marriage was legalized in 9 states. This is wrong. And now why I say that is because of one, my faith. I'm of a Christian faith, and there's multiple instances in the Bible where it talks about same-sex marriage and how it's wrong. One example of this is in Mark chapter 10, verses 6 through 7, where it says, "From the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this cause a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife." Another example of this is in Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13, where it says, "If a man lies with a man as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them." This was some pretty strong words coming from the Bible against same-sex marriage. Another thing about same-sex marriage and why it's wrong is because same-sex couples can't reproduce and have kids, which is a big part of marriage. So since they can't reproduce, this opens up the door to adoption by same-sex couples. And the adoption by same-sex couples is going to cause a child a lot of problems because they're not going to have that father figure or they're not going to have that mother figure in their life. They're only going to have one. And I couldn't imagine what it would be like to not have my father or mother in my life because they each teach you very valuable things that not just one of them could. You know, there's certain things that your dad just has to teach you or your mom does. But one of them couldn't do it all herself. Also, if you have same-sex couples getting married and adoption being brought into the picture, then you're going to have to teach tolerance for that in schools. And that's going to cause a lot of conflict between people because obviously there's people that agree with it and there's people that disagree with it. Also, same-sex marriage further undermines the family values which hold society together. The whole family picture of things that kind of represents our society is going to be brought to another picture with maybe 2 guys being married and having a kid. And that's not really the picture that we need as a society, as if we don't have enough problems already. Also, what does this open the door up to? Where do we draw the line? Is polygamy okay? Is same-sex polygamy okay? Where do we draw that line with our now tolerant nation? The other side of things, people say it's a choice and it only affects them. Well, that's actually not true. According to the Congressional Budget Office, it estimated the cost to the federal government of extending employment benefits to same-sex domestic partners of certain federal employees would be $596 million. Great. Well, we got more money that our government's going to have to spend, as if we aren't in enough debt as it is. Also, people say that they're born gay and they can't help it. Well, there's actually been no scientific evidence to say that people are born gay. So maybe it's a choice, maybe they're born that way, but there hasn't been any proof to prove either way. So that's not just some excuse that you can say you're born that way and you can't help it. So what do we need to do about this problem? Obviously we need to talk to our legislators, speak to them, talk to them about the problem and how you're against it. Or you're going to have to vote against it because I'm sure it's a topic that's going to be coming up in elections. Obviously with the 9 states that had already passed it. So vote against same-sex marriage.